I'm trying. So, no, not yet, not yet. 15 seconds. I'm between a rock and a hard place. How long? 10 seconds now. Hello and welcome to the launch of Midsumma here at the Edge in Fed Square. My name is Ruben Kay and I'll be hosting tonight and taking you through the red carpet. And as such, I hope you're sitting down. I hope you've got a beverage of your choice. Welcome to every single member of our community. Tonight is for you. But it's also about me and some of our amazing guests. Let's bring them in. First off, look at this. It's Aisha Buffet / Riandi Fantorum, Queen of Melbourne.
Oh, what an honour to be here with you.
It's an honour.
So lovely.
I could be blinded by the reflective. It's beautiful. Look at you always serve. Are you not exhausted by the beauty?
Am I exhausted by the beauty? I mean, someone's got to do it. No, this is everything. Look at you. You look stunning.
Thank you. Cruella de Vil, she competed in men's shot put.
And she can't.
Now, let me tell you this.
Tell me.
Let me ask you this.
Oh,
Let's get up close so the mic can
ask
get.
me all the things.
This is so intimate.
Oh my God, everyone's so lucky. You're all blessed.
You've recently released your own merch line, right?
Yes, I
and
have.
The ad featured an entirely all-Asian cast.
Yes,
Snaps for
did.
representation.
Yes, it did.
What was that shoot like?
Oh my gosh, that shoot was phenomenal. I got to do it with my family, so my younger brothers. I got to do it with two of my favorite Nam queens. And then I got to do it with one of my good best friends, my best Judies, who's also part of the ballroom community. So there was so much mass, so much femme, so much queer. It was gorgeous, and I was so happy to do it.
Oh my God, the cup runneth over.
I mean, and it, seriously, that merch, so much love went into it, and it obviously means so much to me to be able to create something that I can give back to people who are also so supportive of my transformation and my gender affirmation surgery fund. So I'm so happy. I'm over the moon, honestly.
I think every member of our community has been struck by the matter-of-factness, the simplicity and the bravery you've had about being so public about your whole journey. That means that other people going through the same thing or aspiring to go through the same thing can look to you as an example. I mean, heavy as the head, babe.
I mean, look, to be honest, it's not what I pictured at all. When I started my transition, I just wanted to be myself. But the fact that I am getting to speak to young people and talk about, you know, their dreams and their goals of their transition is so amazing, because when I grew up, I didn't see any representation of myself. I didn't see femme, I didn't see bigger, I didn't see Asian. And so to see myself out there is really kind of cool. And I'm pretty impressed with myself.
I think we're all bloody impressed with you and impressed with this outfit. Can we get a shot of the outfit, please? Oh my God, I die and live at the same time.
I die and live. I'm so excited
All right,
to be here.
get off my carpet, I've got more.
Mwah, mwah. Have a great night.
Love you, my darling. All right, from the divine to the profane. I don't even know how to introduce this next person. You know him, you love him, you may have caught something from him. It's Dina Curry / Frock Hudson.
Hello, don't touch anything now, don't touch anything.
You can't give me anything I don't have. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely fantastic. This is so fabulous. To be able to kick off another Midsumma for 2023, I'm so excited.
I can smell it. What have you got for us? Have you got anything up and coming?
Look, I've got a lot happening, but for Midsumma, you might be wondering what this is all about.
Just take a moment for this. What is this sort of spatial, celestial couture about?
Well, the title of my show is called Dina Curie is Out of This World. And essentially, I've had not the greatest run with doing Dina Curie cabarets for the last couple of years in Midsumma. So there's been a few COVID cancellations, which I haven't enjoyed. Frock's been doing great, though. And I'm bringing it back just the way in which I love Midsumma being about, with fabulous guests, finding a great queer space where everyone can enjoy and be fabulous. And I'm getting back to my Midsumma roots.
Oh, we're here for it. Yeah. We love it. We stand a legend, and you are a legend in the Melbourne queer community.
Am I? I don't know. Like, I just roll with it. But keep saying it again. I can use it as a quote.
He's a legend in the Melbourne queer community.
I'll take it.
Yes, he will.
I really will. It's been a long winter.
All right, move on. I've got more. Just when you think we can't scrape the bottom of the barrel any harder, I could hear a cackle from over there. It's possibly, what do I call you? Do I call you a sister? Do I call you a brother? Do I call you a lover?
Call me whatever you like, baby, as long as you call me, all right?
The sexual tension here is thick. You could cut it with a spoon.
Oh, cut it with a spoon.
Tash York, songstress, cabaret host, competition for me, so I'm being magnanimous here. You're just an icon straight off the bat of working with other icons' briefs.
Yes.
How was that?
That was absolutely stunning. And not only briefs, also, I mean, obviously within briefs, Queen Kong was in the show that we were doing up in Edinburgh. And
another icon.
Such an icon, such a lovely human, and just the greatest person.
How did it feel working with humans?
It was quite weird after working with you for so long, finding some people that were actually more human in the world and actually, you know, didn't only be up at night time.
I've been told. Now, rumour is that you've got to get back to where you sleep, upside down with your wings folded about you. Is that true?
That is absolutely correct, with the drip of wine going straight into my intravenous.
Heaven. Now, here's the other question.
Yes.
Can we see you anywhere at Midsumma this year or next year in January when this happens?
No, I'm just kidding. I am hosting Hot Summer Nights at the Gasworks with an incredible lineup of circus and some other bits and pieces.
Amazing venue.
And of course, I'm doing my show with Dolly Diamond, the incredible Dolly Diamond, and we are doing our show Attention Seekers, which is something I think you can relate to, which is all about the affliction in which it means to be someone who is an attention seeker in this wild, wild world.
Oh, Tash, you're coming to Midsumma. Do not miss her. You're an angel. They don't pay me enough to do this job. I didn't even get hazard pay from that. I had to have 4 injections just to talk to her. Oh, stop. Hello, come on over. Look at you. Don't you look stunning? Hello. Jack Lee. No? Yes.
No.
No.
Max Lawrence.
Max Lawrence. They gave me the cards. They gave me the cards in the wrong order. Someone's going to get
How
that.
embarrassing.
Don't even. There they are. Look at that. The thing is, it's not live, so they'll just cut it in post.
Amazing.
That's a joke. It's totally live. Everyone's seen this. Welcome to the launch of Midsumma, Jack Lawrence. This is a stunning outfit. You look gorgeous. What can we expect from you here at this festival?
I'm doing an orchestra show with all of my, so I'm a musician, I'm doing all of my music orchestrated with the Forest Collective. It's going to be at the Abbotsford Convent. It's going to be really cool.
I love the Abbotsford Convent.
Such a beautiful space.
Yeah. What size orchestra have you been given?
So it's the Forest Collective. They're like a small kind of like flute, strings, percussion ensemble with some of my synth players in there as well. So maybe like 12, 15 people plus me. Amazing. Nice, you know, organic, intimate. It's going to be really special.
Oh, that sounds gorgeous. Yeah. It sounds like sort of like an ASMR moment in all of the flurry and the disco and sort of like all the prep of Midsumma. You can take a moment to just sort of recenter and chill.
Totally. It's like all about approaching the world with fluidity and like self-reflection and that being a really strong and powerful force. So, yeah.
That's beautiful, and a message that's very much needed for these times. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a lovely Midsumma. I'll see you later. I don't think he noticed. What do you think? Yeah? 1 second. I'm just going to quickly get these done. Oh, who's next? Oh, I know this one. Look at you. Look at you, you dream. Wow.
That's an old horse. Hello, how are you?
Those of you that don't know, this is Thomas Jaspers. Thomas Jaspers, give them a rundown of all of your credentials.
Oh, you know, programming extraordinaire, drag artist, comedian. Is that all the nice things I can
Well, you've
say
also
about it?
missed out the Victorian Pride Centre.
Yes.
Just won a huge architectural award.
Yes, yeah. Very, very honoured to be working at the Pride Centre now. So looking after all their programming.
It's a stunning venue. If you get a chance, head down to Fitzroy. You just skip over the syringes, and there you are.
Yes, that's right. And we're very excited because we've been open for a year now. So this will be our first Midsumma with a full program. So we've got 48 different events happening at the Pride Centre during Midsumma Festival.
It's like a whole beachside hub.
It's a whole beachside hub. We're doing everything from spin classes on our gorgeous rooftop to a massive after party for Pride March. We've got some trans and gender diverse clothes swaps happening. We've got some craft sessions where you can have a wine and learn how to paint with Art Simone. All sorts of gorgeous things. Theatre experiences. We've got a late night piano bar happening with the Geelong Piano Bar.
Love that.
It is bang, bang, bang every night of the festival.
And tell me, you're also programming the extravaganza for Midsumma?
Yes, I have the absolute honour, 5th year of programming the Midsumma Extravaganza. So we're at the Sydney May Music Bowl again. It's the first event of Midsumma. It's on Saturday the 21st of January. The lineup, have you had a little sneak peek at the lineup?
No, I haven't. I'm waiting. I'm frothing at both ends.
So we've got some of our extravaganza legends coming back. Kirsty Wiebeck, Stephen Oliver, Dolly Diamond, icons. But we're also welcoming for the first time Tash York. We've got Kira Puru. We've got Courtney Act coming along. Lou Wall. An incredible lineup of performers. And something that's really close to my heart and that I'm really excited about for the extravaganza is a performance called Night of a Thousand Candies. So, as you know, we lost Miss Candy, drag matriarch of Melbourne, who'd been performing for 50 years around Melbourne. And we're quite honoured to have Film a Box putting together 22 drag artists to do a tribute to Miss Candy.
It's going to be so beautiful.
Some of her most iconic songs and scenes and things. So
I love the idea of any other queen trying to take on Candy's style.
Yes, yeah. 22. You need 22 to make up for Candy.
This is very true. So lovely to see you.
So nice to see you,
wait to see
darling.
you
I can't wait to have a
festival.
drink with you later on.
It's going to happen. All right, thank you, my beauty. All right, they're giving me the wrap-up signal because we're about to start. We're about to action stations, so refill your drinks, lay out your lines, if that's what you're into. I'm not saying that's what you should be doing. I'm getting it. Nope, they're telling me not to say that. All right, I'll see you later. Bye. got the stuff that you want. I got the things that you need. I got more than enough to make you drop to your knees. Hello. 'Cause I'm the queen of the night, the queen of the night. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the launch of Midsumma. Don't make a difference if I'm wrong or I'm right. I got a feeling and I'm feeling tonight. 'Cause I ain't nobody's angel. What can I say? I'm just that way. I got the stuff that you want. I got the things that you need. I got more than enough to make you drop to your knees. And I'm the queen of the night, the queen of the night. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So welcome to the launch of Midsumma. A festival funded entirely by straight guilt. Welcome, my name is Ruben K, and I am your host tonight. And I am known as the Ferrari of drag. Because I'm shiny, I'm expensive, and on a good day I can fit 4 Italians inside me. And welcome to the launch of Midsumma, a festival of love, of inclusion, of celebration of all things queer. And if you listen very closely, you can hear every member of the ACL having an aneurysm right now. And I know the questions people ask. Ruben, does Melbourne need another arts festival? Ruben, if nature abhors a vacuum, then why are you here? Ruben, why do we need Midsumma, a queer festival in the unprecedented age of queer representation? We're everywhere. Movies, sport, politics, culture. You can't swing a handbag without hitting a queer person these days. And trust me, Peter Credlin has tried. But believe me when I say that we are more in danger now than ever. We face violence and discrimination every day. And this is more than just being shackled, dragged to a basement, degraded and violated, or as Christopher Pine calls it, a wonderful weekend in Sorrento. Our very rights are up for debate. The dog whistles from the Murdoch press are calling in the dogs of war, and we are nothing more but bait on the hook. So yes, Midsumma matters now. It says this is our space, and if you take away our safe spaces, we will take them back time and time again. This festival stands not just as a festival, but as a rallying cry. It is a rainbow scream into the void against the beige and navy wave of conformity. This is why we need Midsumma now more than ever. We do not speak their language, they better watch their backs, 'cause we are super dangerous. We got our thigh highs and our roller skates on, and we are rolling the dice. They want us on thin ice, but we are family. Get up everybody and sing, come on! We are family. Get up everybody and sing, yeah, yeah, we are family. Get up everybody and sing. This festival does not belong to me. This festival does not belong to you. This festival is for anyone out there who feels alone, anyone out there who feels they don't have family to turn to. So send them the message, we are family. I won't lie, that was more cardio than I thought I'd be doing today. The only exercise I get is running away from my emotions. Welcome! Welcome to the launch of Midsumma. Nobody asked me for my script before to approve it with legal. Fuck 'em. So, and now it gives me great honor as your host, which is a dubious title, to present to you Victoria's NAIDOC Pride winner of this year, a burlesque icon in the making, traveling around the world, stirring fear into the hearts of the conservative masses. Oh, I fucking love this person. Please give it up for Kitty Obsidian!
Thank you. As a lot of people know, no one can top Ruben, so... Thank you. My name is Kitty Obsidian. I am a very proud Wiradjuri and Gamilaroi non-binary queer person. Thank you. Since I like to add to my little boxes to tick on the diversity hires, I'm also autistic. Thank you. I was asked to speak to talk about Midsumma. Midsumma worked in partnership with NAIDOC this year for the NAIDOC Pride winner, which is this sash is mine, just to point that out. And I'm very, very honoured to be asked to speak, mostly because until quite recently throughout my life, I have had to accept either being an Indigenous person or being a queer person. And this is the first year where I have felt comfortable not choosing either or, but just being myself. There is a lot of negativity in the news. If you're like me, you have a love-hate relationship with politics. This festival is important for so many reasons I couldn't even get into. We'd be here for hours, and there's not enough wine for that. But the one thing I do want to talk about is that as an Indigenous queer person, representation matters now more than ever. These communities have had to fight so hard that it seems ridiculous to even point out that there needs to be no fighting amongst each other, amongst ourselves. Queer people have always existed in this country. To pretend otherwise is to buy into colonial mindsets, and I call for rejection of that. With that being said, I have an absolutely huge honour to introduce to you a proud Wiradjuri man, Daniel Ross, who will be doing our Welcome to Country ceremony today. And I want you to show all of the love that you have for him and for every mob that might be here this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Kitty. My name is Daniel Ross. I'm a proud Wurundjeri man. I'd like to start by acknowledging my ancestors, my elders, but extending my respects to everybody here and acknowledging your elders past and present, and to any other Aboriginal people in the room and any dignitaries. Today we meet on my home, my ancestors' home. And what a backdrop out behind me, seeing the old red gums. I don't know about those sheds on the other side of the water though. To stop and pause and think about what a marvellous place we lived with the Birrarung behind me. Just down the road a little bit further, we've got one of our first corroboree grounds that we knew of. We call that the MCG now. I don't know why they destroyed it for a sporting field, but these things happened. Now, my ancestor's story, that started a long time ago. The beginning of time when Bunjil created everything we knew, from the stars to the roots in the ground. He set us laws to care for one another, how to care for country, when to take food and when to trade. Put that into context. I had to do a welcome at a church. This is a little bit off to the left, sorry. I had to do a welcome at the church. I thought they were going to stab me because I told them baby Jesus was black. context to that, baby Jesus, they hid him in Egypt 6,000 years ago, country of colour, 2022, still a country of colour. Down in Warrnambool, we've got a place that suggests human occupation here in Victoria is at 120,000 years. Baby Jesus, you're black. They didn't like it. But our continued connection to the First Fleet saw Uncle Billabulary negotiate with John Batman for the first treaty here in Victoria, in the presence of Uncle Simon Wonga and William Barak, two amazing young fellas that grew up to be absolutely instrumental leaders in community. Uncle Barak giving my great-grandmother the tribal name, Bullumbulum, white butterfly, to care, to nurture. She was heavily involved in Aboriginal health services. How these old people had a way of knowing, I don't know. 67, we had a referendum, we voted. Aboriginal people were human. That was a pretty important time. I don't know what we were before that. Then my grandfather, he works tirelessly. He's 76 and one of our senior elders. This year he managed to buy back one of Uncle Barak's paintings and bring it home to country. That's a massive feat in itself. But I spoke about the referendum, and 20 odd years after that, I went to school, a proud little Aboriginal boy, so I thought. And I was pulled apart by my peers, by my teachers, by my principal, and told I wasn't Aboriginal because I was white. I went home broken, and my grandfather pulled me aside. He was very knowledgeable. I don't know how these old fellas get so smart. And verbatim, he told me he could explain why. I was born in the daytime whilst my cousins were born at night. That's, as much as it makes us laugh now, it's a true story. And I've got 3 kids of my own now. And 2 of them are in school, and I think all 3 of them are going to be mathematicians. Because people keep asking, what's their percentage? I don't know how that works, but kind of like a cup of tea. How much milk do we keep putting in it before we stop calling it a cup of tea? But these are some of the challenges we've faced in 2.5 centuries. It's not where we live now. But something to think about is, where do we plant our seeds for the next generation? How do we put them on fertile ground so they can grow towards the light and create a forest of knowledge that we can all move forward collectively? That's the way I'd like to think of our future generations. And it's up to us today to guide those generations. I'd like to welcome you all to my home, my ancestors' home. Woman Jika Arundri Bulak, Yemen Gundibik. In the Wurrung language, I just said, welcome to the traditional lands of the Arundri people. There's a little footnote there. I told a little bit of a white lie. We haven't got a word for welcome. Womanjika means to come with purpose. So whilst you're on country, please carry your purpose. Thank you.
Good evening. And thank you to Daniel and also to Kitty. Wow, I have to follow that. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land that we meet on today, and pay my respects to elders past and present, and to all First Nations community members who are joining us here today in person or from lands far and wide online. We acknowledge that colonial structures and policies remain in place today, and recognise the ongoing struggles of First Nations people in dismantling those structures, and we stand with them. Our First Nations communities were our first artists, they were our first storytellers, and I feel privileged to share a country with such rich history, culture, stories, knowledge and arts. A land where sovereignty was never ceded, and it always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the fabulous introductory performances as we arrived by homophonic string quartet players, Cameron Jamison, Zach Johnson, Phoebe Green and Tim Hennessy. Weren't they wonderful? And roving around from our Ignite program, of which you will hear more later, Beef Boy Band Real, Kimberly Twiner, Liv Bell, Jet Phoenix, Lily Fish, and of course, Ruben Kay. Welcome to the launch of the 2023 Midsumma Festival program. It is so great to see so many of you, row upon row of smiling faces, and also all of the Midsumma staff around wearing our 2023 t-shirt with the wonderful hero image specifically for this year's program, and more about that design later. A big hi also to those who are joining us from all over online. I'm so pleased that we have the opportunity to extend our reach and our access for tonight's event far and wide through the live streaming technology, especially with a program this year that spans events geographically spread all over Victoria. Wherever you are joining us from, we are thrilled that you can be with us this evening. Midsumma has, for quite a number of years now, been very carefully positioning itself as Australia's premier LGBTIQ arts and culture organisation for and by creative communities who live with shared experiences around diverse gender and sexuality. This arose from Midsumma reimagining and activating its position as a future major nexus for queer cultural development. And central to this vision has been the aspiration to become a proactive development arts organisation all year round, recognised locally, nationally and internationally as a hub of artistic excellence in queer arts. And since this time, we've realigned a lot of our resources and recruited staff with expertise specifically in the area of all art forms, artist and art form development, producing of new works so we can support particularly independent artists, audience and community engagement, so we are always embedded in grassroots, and a broad range of other arts and culture sector capacity building, because everyone should have access to creativity, to the sharing of our stories and to the arts. With strategic focuses that include intersectional communities such as First Nations, disability, culturally and linguistically diverse communities, diverse families and seniors, we engage with broad communities across all age ranges, all cultures, demographics, geographical locations and identities, truly seeking to represent inclusion and diversity in all its forms. Demand for Midsumma continues to grow from both artists and audiences. And in fact, the size of the program that we're going to be talking to you later, in the past 6 years to tonight, we've increased the scale and the number by 80%. And our audiences have more than doubled over that time, despite all of the capacity limits that have been placed because of COVID in the last few years. And even with such COVID impacts, Midsumma has achieved an attendance of over 250,000 people for its festival every year over the last 4 years. And just before COVID, we actually peaked at over 280,000. For the last few years, we have been perhaps one of the only festivals to have managed to present a festival in person through 2020, 21, 22, navigating the minefield of changing conditions and changing dates with the agility of a dancer, and with so much courage and so much belief. I have to thank everybody who has worked over those years for their dedication, their patience and their resilience to deliver in whatever way it took for our communities. Our festival is all about all the days in every year and the weeks where we focus on the development and what people need and the support we can provide and the bringing together of diverse communities. And we focus on bringing our artists and our audiences together in ever-increasing ways. And what an offering we have for you tonight. It is bigger and more expansive than any Midsumma before, with 224 separate events to keep you enthralled over 23 days and nights. Such smorgasbord of arts and culture requires a lot of time and a lot of work behind the scenes. And Midsumma's, most of the time, a pretty lean team of staff and volunteers making it all happen. So I'd like to welcome to the stage the first of our guest speakers, the Deputy Chair of our Midsumma Board, Michael Parry.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start a little bit unusually by reading from our Constitution, which wouldn't ordinarily be something you'd do at an event like this. But we recently amended our Constitution, and it was adopted just a few weeks ago. And the changes that we made were quite significant. They were about how we recognise Aboriginal land and what that means to us as a board and what that means to us as an organisation. And it's a fundamental part of our identity as a year-round organisation based here in Naarm. And you'll notice that it now extends through all of our programming and into our strategic plan. The Constitution reads, Midsumma Festival was founded on the lands of the Bunurong, Taungurung, Djajawarong, Wadawurrung and Wurundjeri peoples of the Kulin Nation. We continue our work on and bring together visitors from many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander lands. We acknowledge that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders are the first peoples of these lands, and we pay respect to First Nations elders, past and present. Midsumma recognises their continuing spiritual and cultural connection to the land, and it acknowledges that Aboriginal sovereignty has never been ceded. On behalf of our chair, Judy Small, who sadly can't be with us tonight, and behalf of all of the Midsumma board, and a very warm welcome to the Midsumma program launch. It's the work that you've already heard from Karen, our remarkable CEO, our incredible hard-working staff, supported by a team of more than 300 volunteers that mean we can launch the 35th festival tonight, our largest ever. And while we're here to look forward to a new festival, I wanted to take a moment just to share a few insights from some of the other things that Midsumma does. Because while you may know it as a summer festival, hint, it's in the name, there is a whole series of other things that we do, as Karen has alluded to already. The impact of our annual signature commissioning program across the past 4 years has been vast. Body in 2019 commissioned work from 21 trans, intersex and gender diverse artists. Queer Unsettled in 2020 commissioned and presented work from 27 First Nations artists from Australia, New Zealand, Pacifica and diverse Asian and Asian Australian artists. And our PRISM program in 2021 focused on the development of new work for diverse families whose lived experiences are so rarely seen in children's arts events. And in 2022, &OR provided an artistic celebration of intersectionality involving the creation of 11 new works for diverse, queer, disability communities. 2 more of those commissions were further expanded, and we're thrilled that they'll be presented this year as part of the 2023 festival, or I should say next year. Our work across regional Victoria is also expanding. In the past 18 months, we've held 22 Midsumma events, attracting over 29,000 people across regional Victoria. And as Karen said, even with COVID impacts, over the past 4 years, over 250,000 people have participated in our programs every single year. It makes us amongst the largest festivals in Victoria and amongst a very short list nationally. A quarter of our participants were attending Midsumma for the first time, many from marginalised communities, and we remain highly accessible. 40% of the programs are free to attend. And all of these people making and attending queer creative art has a real impact. In fact, a $44 million impact on the Victorian economy. We've stimulated the creation of 145 jobs and across many of the food and beverage and accommodation sectors. And while tourism is recovering across Victoria, nearly 90% of our visitors identified the festival as the main reason for their visit. Our local audiences are also motivated, and they said that 70% of them, particularly those that were living in Metro Melbourne, that they would have stayed home or done something else instead of something outside the city if the festival wasn't on. So I think you'd agree we're doing a bit more than just being a summer festival. But of course, we can't do all of these things without an incredible array of partners, sponsors, and supporters. First of all, acknowledging our corporate principal partner, NAB. Thank you, NAB. Long-time supporter, and you'll be hearing from the NAB team in a moment. Of course, the State Government of Victoria, through Creative Victoria, for Pride March, and for Pride March and Victoria's Pride through Fairer Victoria. The City of Melbourne, thank you for all the support. And our major partners, the City of Port Phillip and SEEK. Woolworths joins us this year, and we warmly welcome them as a major partner. And Amazon, through their employee network Glamazon, are moving up into the major partner category for the first time this year. Our goal partners are AGL, Dan Murphy's, and RACV. I was going to say, we have some Dan Murphy teams in the room. You're very welcome. Thank you for your support. Silver partners, Australia Post, they are definitely in the room. Australia Post have the naming rights to our amazing program, the Midsumma and Australia Post Arts Prize. Have done for many years now. Get down to the gallery when you see those exhibitions on. L'Oreal, welcome back. Thank you after a fabulous first year of support last year. And Jetstar return as a partner again. Thank you, Jetstar. Our legal partner, Cause Chambers Westgarth Lawyers. Love all the representing in the room. And two new silver level partners join us for their first year, Adobe and the Australian Open. Thank you. We couldn't put on many of our projects without the support of our partners, the Richmond Football Club, the federal government through the Australia Council for the Arts, Fed Square and MAPCO, who we thank for the use of the wonderful venue tonight, and Stomping Ground. Helping us make sure you're all aware of what is going on at the festival is Joy, Yarra Trams, Mr. Moto, Print Graphics, Placket, Civic Outdoors, and the Star Observer. And also a huge thank you to all of the individual donors of Midsumma, particularly our wonderful patrons, without we couldn't exist. And if you'd like to become a patron, please seek me out afterwards. We'd love your support. Anyway, that's all of our supporters. Thank you so much. We could not do it without you. Back to you, Karen.
Thank you, Michael. Midsumma works hard to make the many diverse queer arts communities in Victoria more visible and more effectively interconnected, and to provide a platform of artistic voices and stories that just might not otherwise be heard in the broader community. We have a focus on the development of a contemporary and cultural arts practice that's distinct and unique to our region of the world. It is the aim of Midsumma that the activities that we undertake have long-term cultural impacts way beyond the KPIs of the individual projects and outcomes. And although the primary festival is held in summer each year, as you've heard, we do work year-round to provide artists and culture makers with the support and development opportunities to create, present and promote their work, but also to build sustainable careers and to develop new works and new art that progresses the forms with unique, creative Australian voices and styles. We've evolved a methodology for developing both artists and audiences and new work that is uniquely shaped to contextualise the experience of queer artists and our communities, whilst also sharing that work with broader communities. And one notable example of our year-round investment in development is our Midsumma Pathways Mentorship program for LGBTIQ artists who have a disability and/or are neurodiverse, autistic, are deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or have low vision, or are living with chronic pain. We have an annual intake of participants each year for one-on-one mentorships that are matched specifically with experienced artists in their field that matches their particular identified needs and career development over a minimum of a 9-month period. And alongside, the program also provides them with a series of career and capacity building business skills workshops that are led by a variety of leaders. The program is led by the amazing Harriet Devlin, along with Ebony Rattle, who's a previous Pathways graduate. Our latest cohort have actually just graduated, so we wanted to give a nod and a thank you and a congratulations to them, as it's a time for celebration as well as looking forward towards our festival. And so I'd like to welcome to the stage to say a few words, Harriet Devlin.
Hi. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and welcome our deaf community members, artists and professionals here tonight and also watching online, as well as our Auslan interpreters, Linda and Sarah from Auslan Stage Left, who are doing a wonderful job making this event accessible to our deaf community. We are looking forward to welcoming deaf artists and audiences to the 2023 Midsumma Festival. I'd also like to thank our ongoing and highly valued access partners, which include Auslan Stage Left and Expression Australia, as well as Break a Finger. We are also at the very beginning of a new and exciting project with Vitae Veritas as we work towards improving our engagement with our blind and low vision communities. We have some of our access consultants from Vitae Veritas in the house tonight. Welcome. We are so glad you're here. It is my great pleasure and honour to manage Midsumma Pathways, a career development and mentorship program for queer artists with disability. I could not do this work without Ebony Rattle, Midsumma Pathways alumni and extremely talented artist and sound designer. Ebony joined the Midsumma team in August as the Pathways program coordinator following an incredibly competitive recruitment process. We are very lucky to have Ebony and their expertise as part of our small and dedicated Midsumma team. Yeah. Over the past 3 years, Midsumma has welcomed 38 artists into the Pathways program who represent a diverse range of arts practices, intersectional identities and lived experiences. Every artist who has been part of Midsumma Pathways has contributed to the co-design of the program. The strength and robustness of Midsumma Pathways today is a result of the participation and commitment of every artist, mentor, workshop facilitator and program manager who has contributed to the program up until now. We are deeply grateful for your time, energy and artistry. Thank you. Through Midsumma Pathways, alongside our annual festival, Midsumma is supporting a diverse and growing community of artists, which we believe can transform our industry. We want to create a space where access needs and queerness can exist side by side and not to the exclusion of each other. We aim to facilitate a space where artists can find and develop connection and understanding of others and themselves as they build and nourish their craft. I am thrilled to announce the following Midsumma Pathways artists and alumni who will be part of the 2023 Midsumma Festival in a range of ways. All 14 of our current Pathways cohort will gather as audiences during the 2023 festival, including 2 artists from interstate and 2 from regional Victoria. Pathways alumni Sarah Carroll from Western Sydney will present her original one-woman show, Cherry, with an Auslan interpreted performance on the 10th of February. Teague Lee will be part of our volunteer photography team in the 2023 festival. Angelita Biscotti is curating and performing in an evening of multidisciplinary performance art called Amplify. On the 23rd day, Mars was in Gemini at the Bluestone Church Art Space in Footscray. This lineup will also feature another Pathways artist, Kip Mack, who will be opening the night doing punk on piano. Ben McKellen is producing and performing his one-man show, Trans Mansplaining, based on his lived experiences as a gay trans man. Yes, let's give a round of applause. Amy May Nunn has written an ode to oddballs and outsiders called Lemon Tree on Dreg Street, which will be presented at Theatre Works in St Kilda. Yeah, let's give him a round of applause. Like, yeah, Pathways. Whilst I am thrilled, pleased, excited, all the things, to be able to see some of the works of our Pathways artists in the 2023 festival, and I'll look forward to seeing you all there, it feels important to note that presenting work in a festival is certainly not the only way to measure achievement and growth of artists within this program, or any artists. For every artist who has said, I feel supported to share my experiences with my peers, we celebrate this moment. For every artist who travels interstate alone for the first time, we celebrate this moment. For every piece of feedback we receive that helps us to make Midsumma Pathways stronger and more inclusive, we celebrate this moment. For every artist who attends a Midsumma Festival event or a Pathways gathering and thinks, I belong here, this is for me, we celebrate this moment. Yeah. Thank you all for celebrating and acknowledging our Midsumma Pathways artists here tonight. Thank you for your commitment to becoming more inclusive as we work together to change the fabric of our industry. Thanks, of course, to the NDIS for funding Midsumma Pathways and for your ongoing support. We are thrilled to be part of these artistic journeys, and we can't wait to see what happens next.
Thank you, Harriet. We would also like to welcome the new cohort that Harriet talked about of Pathways participants who have just commenced their journey with us, because many of them are joining us here tonight. I would now like to welcome to the stage the Deputy Lord Mayor of Melbourne, Nicholas Rees.
Wow, there's a lot of you here tonight. Hi, I'm Nicholas Rees. I'm the Deputy Lord Mayor of Melbourne, and it's my absolute honour and pleasure to be joining you this evening. I've also joined on stage by my councillor colleague and good friend Jamal Hakim. Sort of reminds me of that old joke, you know, what's the only thing worse than a politician speaking at your event? Two politicians speaking at your event? But in the case of Jamal, his connection to Midsumma as a director and as the guy in the back room while we were all there marching in the parade, and he was just making sure the numbers all added up, I think deserves to be honoured. So yeah, delighted he could join me here on the stage. Can I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners in the language of the Wurundjeri? Wominjenka Marimbik Burundap, Wurundjeri Willam U, Liwik U Kulin, Yalimbu Ba Yiramboy. The City of Melbourne respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we govern, the Wurundjeri peoples of the Eastern Kulin, and pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Can I also acknowledge the wonderful Karen Bryant, CEO of Midsumma. Let's give it up for Karen. And very sadly, Judy Small couldn't be with us this evening, but Michael Parry is here flying the flag for the board of Midsumma. Let's give it up for Michael and the board. And mostly, I want to say props to all of you for turning out for what is going to be the biggest, the best and the brightest Midsumma Festival ever. This year's Midsumma is really a year of milestones. It was more than 30 years ago, in a sign of the great verve, the energy and the determination of this community, that Midsumma came into being. And what a triumph it has become for all the artists involved, for all the audiences, for all the loved ones who get together and celebrate the inclusive embrace of Midsumma. This year is also 5 years since same-sex marriage became legalised in Australia. Let's give it up for that. Wasn't that a moment in the life of our nation? It took a long time and a lot of voices, but it was truly a milestone moment. We celebrated at the City of Melbourne with a little party, was it 2 weeks ago now? Our Pride group put that together. It was really, really special. And I think across the nation, we all took a moment to celebrate that milestone. I've also got a personal milestone that I'm celebrating this year with Midsumma as well, and that's actually, it's 20 years this year since the founding of Movember. I'm not just wearing this moustache because it looks ridiculous. I'm wearing this moustache to raise much needed funds for men's health. And I indeed was one. Movember started here in Melbourne. It's running in 21 countries around the world. And I was there. I was one of the original Mo Bros. And Movember, it's men's health. We look after, we focus on prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and we also focus on mental health. And the reason we focus on mental health is because I lost my best mate, Cam, to suicide. And when Cam took his life, we were all absolutely dumbstruck. I'd been out with him partying on Friday night. Sunday evening, he was gone. And we were blindsided. We had no idea why. Then, when we were at the funeral, we went to the funeral, the trauma that went through that. I remember being on the front lawn, drowning our sorrows, and somebody says, "We've found a note." They'd broken open his toolbox in his room and found his suicide note. So we all pile into his bedroom, and the note's read out to us. And there it is in the very first line. "I am gay. I've been living a lie, and I can't go on." So it's fair to say that was a life-changing moment for me. It was a life-changing moment for my friends and everyone who loved Cam. And for the last 20 years, through Movember, when we put our funds and our efforts into mental health and difficult conversations, I still am there doing it for Cam. It's also, I think, a reminder of how far we came. That all happened over 20, close to 30 years ago now. And I like to think that as a society, as a community, as a country, we're up for those conversations. Now, the world has changed. We've still got a long way to go, but we have come a long way, and we have a lot to celebrate, and we are going to celebrate. This summer, it promises to be an absolute fiesta of events for Melbourne as we get together for Midsumma, and we're getting back in huge numbers. Now that the lockdowns are over, Melbourne is ready to party again. I'm going to say that again, everybody. Now that the lockdowns are over, Melbourne is ready to party again. The rejuvenation is well underway, especially at night time and on weekends. And the bounce back is being borne out by festivals such as Midsumma. Art, theatre, sports events, brilliant bars, clubs and restaurants, a record 224 events, giving this city the shot in the arm that it is so looking forward to. Now, every year the City of Melbourne gets behind Midsumma. We are very out and very proud to be a long-term supporter of Midsumma. We support the carnival, and we'll be with you at the Pride March walking side by side. In fact, we'll be there everywhere. We'll be there at the Myer Music Bowl for opening night. We'll be there for the parade in St Kilda. We'll be there for the closing street party in Smith Street and Gertrude Street. We'll be giving it a real good shake, it's fair to say. It's so important that this event champions the voice of LGBTQIA+ community. As a council, we reaffirm that if we want to be a livable city, if we want to be the world's greatest city, then we've also got to be an inclusive and loving city. And that's what our support for Midsumma is all about. Can I just finish by saying I'm so pleased to see that this year's festival is also going out to the regions. I think in big cities like Melbourne, but in little towns and little communities, it's really, really important that we bring that colour and bring that love to every corner of the state. And we're going to paint the state red, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, pink and orange all at once this year. So Midsumma, as we crack the proverbial bottle on your bow, we toast you and we wish you the biggest and best and brightest festival ever come January. Go Midsumma. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Deputy Lord Mayor, and thanks for dragging me up here. I'm just going to say a few words. I'm not going to make it two politicians speaking, but I did want to say...
We're the Mo Bros.
Yeah, we are the Mo Bros. Thanks, everyone. It is always really good to be here. I was on the board of Midsumma, and it was my pleasure to have been part of the group that selected Karen to come on board. And I want to just say, Karen, you do an amazing job. I want to recognize Karen's work specifically and what you've done with the intersectionality of the program. Because Midsumma has come a long way. It's 35 years now. It is really coming into that mature stage of a festival. And to see the things that we spoke about during periods when Midsumma was struggling, and I was counting at the back, the finances were tough, and the board put their own money in to keep the festival going at points. But now it is going from strength to strength, and that comes down to the leadership that you've shown, Karen, but not only in leading the festival to become sustainable, but in bringing that vision of intersectionality through. And I think I want to recognize that, because intersectionality and representation of it matters, because it creates safe spaces, and it makes all our lives better. It is something, Ruben is right as well. You know, the fight isn't over. We are stronger together, so we have to create those spaces for intersectionality, for protecting our trans community members, for our queer people of color, for our queer migrants, for every single person in our communities. And so that's what Midsumma does, and you're doing a terrific job in leading that. So well done. City of Melbourne is committed to making sure that those safe spaces are everywhere for everyone in the city. I know I'm going to keep doing it. So well done and shine on.
Thank you, Nicholas, and thank you, Jamal, for hiring me. Alongside many challenges that COVID has impacted on all of us and across our economy, it's certainly severely impacted on our revenue streams. And with only 6% of our total revenue each year actually provided from our core annual grant, I wouldn't be standing here announcing this program without all of our ongoing sponsors that we acknowledged earlier tonight and supporting us old and new. Every single one of you have made tonight possible and will make the Summer Festival possible. We are lucky to have had the loyalty of many of these groups who have stood with us over many years now, and they've helped us to have the stability to stand by our communities through it all, and the ability to keep dreaming, and the ability to actually support the dreams of our artists and our communities. And our co-host of this launch tonight is our principal partner, corporate partner, NAB, who's been standing with us and our communities on this journey now for many years. It's never been as important as it is now, as we all work together in a new post-COVID world to seek normality and reactivate our city, our nation, our communities, and our cultural sector. And so I'd like to invite to the stage the last of our formal guest speakers from our principal corporate partner, NAB, Lance Thornswood, who is the Chief Design Officer and the Executive Sponsor of NAB Pride.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karen, for that introduction and for the opportunity to speak to everybody here for a few minutes tonight. To Daniel, thank you for that heartfelt welcome to country. As an American, you might guess that from my accent, I am so deeply moved by the acknowledgement of Australia's First Peoples and the welcomes that I hear at so many important events. So thank you. We are really, truly lucky to live, work, and celebrate as an LGBTI+ community in such a special place. And I pay my respects not only to you, but also extend them to elders of other communities who may be here tonight, either in person or viewing with us online. It's also very exciting for me to be here tonight with Michael Parry and the members of the Midsumma Board, with our City of Melbourne Deputy Lord Mayor Nicholas Rees, and with Jamal, and of course with Harriet Devlin from Midsumma Pathways. So great to meet you all. My name is Lance Thornswood, as Karen said, and I am the Chief Design Officer at NAB. And this year, I proudly joined the absolutely fabulous Rachel Slade and Drew Bradford as executive co-sponsor of NAB Pride, our LGBTI+ employee group. My pronouns are he, they, and together with members of the NAB Pride team, I'm also proudly here tonight with my husband, Nils Heyman. I should have suspected that. Normally, tonight you would be hearing from the fabulous Rachel Slade. She's a popular and very familiar face, both at NAB and at our NAB Pride events, and here. She's presently on holiday with her family and couldn't be with us tonight, but I have to say, I did get to send her off to Japan with a head full of bright purple hair, where she's going off to be a Harajuku girl, or whatever it is, for the next week or so. She speaks so passionately about Midsumma and the important role that it plays in the LGBTI+ community, which includes her family. Together with Drew Bradford, Rachel is one of our strongest allies, not only at NAB, but also in the broader community. As executive co-sponsors of NAB Pride, the three of us all have a strong connection to the LGBTI+ community. For Rachel and Drew, their connection is through their kids. And for me, though I'm new to the scene in Melbourne, I've been out proud. Melbourne, oh my God, what an American. Ah! How did I do that? I've been practicing. Let's start over. Although I'm new here in Melbourne, like the Americans we can be taught, I have been out proud and loud for many years, and I'm so delighted to be part of this. On my way here tonight, I was reflecting on the importance of being visible. Events around the world like Midsumma, groups like NAB Pride, and allies like Rachel and Drew are just so important to our community. The same can be said for the support given by the city, by our fellow Midsumma Festival sponsors, and indeed by everyone who plays a part in bringing Midsumma to life year after year. The visibility and the allyship send such a clear message to anybody looking for acceptance. It shows there's room for you to be yourself. And as we say at NAB, everybody should have the opportunity to be out, loud, and proud. Having only recently arrived, as you could tell by my gaffe, to Melbourne, we're looking forward, my husband and I, to our first Midsumma Festival. We can't wait to experience the wonderfully diverse program of arts, culture, and community events, and we can't wait to see how Midsumma enables everybody to celebrate their true selves. In our short time since arriving here, we've experienced how diverse and welcoming the LGBTI+ community is, and we felt the welcoming embrace of Melbourneites in general. Diversity is something that we really deeply value at NAB, not just through our NAB Pride network, but right across the entire bank. We're an organization with a wealth of experiences, beliefs, and backgrounds. And I'm wearing tonight a little new pin that I just picked up today, because we just learned that NAB has also been named a platinum organization by the Australian Workplace Equality Index. Way to go. We believe and truly try to exemplify that when you fully embrace who you are and can be your whole self, you're going to thrive. We share the same commitment with our customers, making sure that they're respected and valued for who they are, no matter how they identify. NAB have been part of Midsumma for over 10 years, and we are proud again to be part of this world-class festival filled with events that celebrate our diverse and inclusive LGBTI+ community. Each year, the NAB team are excited to participate and attend the many events on offer. And after so much uncertainty over the last few years, NAB are delighted to continue supporting the festival and the important role it plays in Melbourne's community and worldwide. It looks like a wonderful time of year to connect and celebrate, weather permitting. I've never really fully understood this whole, 4 seasons in one day until I got here. And it's mostly been rain every day since I got here. So this couldn't be a more perfect day with the sun and the warm weather. Midsumma is, of course, is much more than just fun in the sun, although we'll welcome the sun. It contributes to progressive cultural values and expands thinking. It influences our beliefs, and it builds a much stronger, much more inclusive community. And that's what makes Melbourne, Melbourne. NAB are proud festival sponsors, as we passionately believe that everyone, no matter how they identify, has a right to be their true selves. Congratulations to the Midsumma team for putting together such a diverse and exciting program of events for the 2023 festival. Something that's clear is the diversity of activities and events on offer, enabling our wonderfully diverse community the opportunity to share their true selves. And I have no idea how I'm going to pick from all the events that are going to be happening in just a few short weeks from now. To all the artists and the volunteers, thank you for injecting the festival with so much energy and so much passion. Artists and performers are the heart of Midsumma, and I thank you for sharing your stories. I'm sure they'll make for an inspiring experience that not only entertains, but also enriches our entire community. I can't wait to see how everyone is going to bring Midsumma to life at the 2023 festival. Of course, Midsumma is also a massive event, and when it wouldn't be possible without the thousands of hours that volunteers donate every year. Thank you for generously giving your time and for the added excitement and passion that you bring. I look forward to greeting all of you at the many events that make up the festival. Midsumma thrives because of your support and because of your commitment to this great community. Finally, to everyone planning to attend, whether you're first-timers like me and my husband, or if you've lost count of all the times that you've come to the festival, NAB hopes that you'll join all of us in being more out and more proud at Midsumma 2023. Thank you all for allowing me and for allowing NAB to be part of your story. Bring on Midsumma.
Thank you, Lance. And now we get to the part of our program, or the part of the night, and this is where my papers suddenly have gone, I think I've got someone else's speech still here. That would be really interesting, wouldn't it? Okay, we get to the part where, the exciting part that we've all been waiting for, where we get to talk about the actual program for 2023. Midsumma Festival is about our stories. It's about our past, our present, and our imagined futures. It's about coming together, standing together, and recognising that our communities come from different places with different lived experiences, different expressions, different perspectives, and often vastly different needs. But we come together as diverse communities in this festival knowing that we don't need to exclude others to feel included ourselves. Thank you. As we mentioned before, there are 224 individual events in the program and they're online right now. And that is far bigger than any Midsumma Festival before. I wish I could talk to you about each and every one of them, obviously, and they deserve that. But I'm sure my team would actually pull me off stage if I tried to do that, and time's not on our side. So I'm going to give you a few samples, probably a few more than a few, just to give you a real taste, so please bear with me, to get you ready to dive into the full program afterwards on your phones, on your tablets, on your laptops, or old school with the printed program in hand with sticky notes and a pen. That's always fun. It all kicks off with Midsumma Eve, Saturday the 21st of January with Arts Centre Melbourne with Midsumma Extravaganza in its 5th fabulous year after a COVID layoff. Refreshed, it's moved from Hamer Hall and now it's taking under the stars, it's taking over Melbourne's iconic Sydney Myer Music Bowl with with a gorgeous live band, one night only, a fabulous lineup of all things queer. And then, of course, the day after that, we bounce out of bed again, Sunday 22nd, for Carnival that takes over Alexandra Gardens. It's still free, it still has multiple stages, and it showcases artists from all across the festival. Plus, of course, stalls, fun activities from morning right through into evening. Our Midsumma venue hubs, they're really special places because they're venues who have committed to having a whole lot of different activities over the whole festival. So you can guarantee there's going to be something on during the festival dates. And the purpose of those partnerships initially was to assist venues to develop audiences to support thriving, diverse LGBTIQ programming all year round. So they're a really good place to start your journey. TheatreWorks have been a valued and innovative collaborator with us, and they've got 7 groundbreaking new shows across 3 spaces. For the first time, we have the Victorian Pride Centre joining us as a hub with an amazing program. Abbotsford Convent, they're a partner that we've collaborated with every single year on the development and commissioning of new works. The Butterfly Club, with 13 events right here in the city in that beautiful intimacy of a venue. Another first-time hub is the Motley Bar House in Carlton, a multidisciplinary new space with 10 separate Midsumma projects. And after a highly successful season of as being a hub for the first time last year, Pride of Our Footscray returns with events including First Nations Drag Festival and Queer Comedy Gala. Midsumma Westside is really special for us. It's a collaboration of Melbourne's Western councils coming together to support this amazing slice of Midsumma Festival with a wonderful array of 14 different events taking place in the West. And our long-standing partner venue, Gasworks, they've been working with us for over 10 years. They're a vital partner with us, not just during the festival year round. We partner with them with the Queer Playwriting Award Showcase, which develops and showcases new LGBTIQ playwriting. And then for the festival, the 4 finalists from that, excerpts will be performed in front of you, our live audience, at Gasworks during our festival. Plus, as part of that pipeline, the realisation of last year's winner of the Gay Playwriting Award Showcase is presented at Gasworks, a new Australian play, Code of Conduct, that's deeply personal and deeply ripped from the headlines. Every year we have strategic goals that we've talked about that are about diverse representation. They're central to everything we do, and it's been a key strategy as part of that every year that we develop a signature program that really shines the light on one part of our community and focuses on the commissioning and presenting of a suite of new works and new collaborations based around key intersectional parts of our artistic communities, which otherwise just would often not be part of the artistic community or the artistic conversations. And these leadership programs, they aim to break new artistic ground nationally in the development and profile of diverse artistic expression and community expression. And they often focus on the underrepresented stories, and they're placed centre stage in our program. And this year's signature program is called A Safer Space. It brings together years of our explorations with our strategic priority areas in a celebration of intersectionality involving the commissioning, the development and the presentation of a range of new works across art forms with and by diverse communities at the intersections, and at the time when COVID has had us all questioning what makes for a safe space in our lives and our communities. Projects include The Body is More Than This. In partnership with the Immigration Museum and curated by Kin Francis, The Body is More Than This presents visual narratives from 5 artists who identify as gender diverse and non-binary. Surrounded by the pillars and the architecture of the Immigration Museum's ground floor, this project explores and proposes a new body, a new way of seeing past borders beyond preconceived cisgender identity and colonial understandings. Sync with Simona Castrium and Carla Zimbler creates a vortex, a portal within which to speculate the queer body as an event in urban space. Reimagine the experience of stadium techno, stripped back to minimal, elements of percussion and projection, to create an intimate, immersive relationship between performers and audience. Fountain at Abbotsford Convent is a musical collaboration between Forest Collective and the wonderful composer-performer Max Lawrence, who I know is here this evening. This new work comments on the inherent tension between the queer individual coming out against the world and how one explores these tensions and uses them as a process for growth and renewal. And Lawrence creates lush Baroque pop music with an experimental edge, expressing vulnerability as a form of resistance. In our 3rd year collaborating with Metro Tunnel and committed to ongoing pipelines of development and profile and ongoing opportunities for our artists, we invited this year past winners of our Midsumma and Australia Post Arts Award to submit artworks responding to the theme of a safer space, to bring the hoardings of Franklin Street frames facing the city bath alive with large public artworks by 6 artists. Night at the Museum with -18, after a highly successful online digital version last year, is back in real life this year, alongside the highly successful Becoming You exhibition. Big Thick Energy, which is the brainchild of performance artist Demon Dairy, is curated to promote body positivity and liberation through movement, creativity and community, and is 3 evenings of high-energy performances featuring Baroque, burlesque, drag, Vogue, poetry, slam, freak show and music at the Malthouse Outdoor Stage and accompanied by workshops at Chunky Move Studios. Midsumma Matters will be here at the Edge on the February the 4th. It's a range of panel sessions that will explore the future of queer arts in Australia and beyond. The forum is going to discuss a whole range of topics, including the development of the new National Arts Policy, the new Melbourne Arts Precinct, and the place of queer artists within these and within the broader, new, changing post-COVID landscapes, and ask how do independent queer practice in performance and other art making create diversity in our arts ecologies and in our diverse communities. Asphyxia is a deaf artist living with chronic illness. And Stranger Than Usual is a musical performance commissioned by Midsumma, originally as part of our 2021-22 Andor program, about the experience of being deaf, queer, chronically ill and needing to use a wheelchair. It has songs written by Asphyxia and a live band featuring Sarah Ward and Beck Matthews, and it's presented in Auslan and English with projection art, vibrations and captioning. Turbulence sees 5 older LGBTIQ people who were mentored to create art representing their experiences of disruption, hardship, ageing and human connection. And their stories through an online event document living with dementia, being a carer, ageing with HIV, the death of a beloved partner, organ transplants, coming out late, transitioning late, and living in an ageist world. For this project, older LGBTIQ were also paired with younger LGBTIQ artists who added a multi-generational reflections to the project on the power of human connection. Sherry at the Butterfly Cub takes you on an intimate bubblegum pop journey from fangirl Sarah's awkward teenage years to discovering the power of Kate Perry's music, to ultimately becoming a confident bisexual woman, and on the way, it invites us all to embrace who we really are, and hilariously, insightfully, it celebrates the power to transform of music. At the Pride Centre, we have a trio of events within this program, including Cheers Queers, the very best of Melbourne's thriving queer comedy scene, teamed together for a fabulous night of comedy over 3 nights. Auntie, a celebration of music, black women, queer icons, Indigenous royalty, and everything fabulous in between, will be a fabulous night of DJs, pop-up performances, impromptu voguing, and delectable drink specials. And at Incinerator, Midsumma Incinerator is responding to the themes of a safer space with solo and group exhibitions at the gallery to celebrate and champion diverse LGBTIQ communities beyond and within Melbourne's inner western suburbs. As part of our ongoing commitment for kids and families within our communities who so rarely see work that's been created for them that actually reflects their lived experience, we have Polite Mammals with It's at Art Play, an award-winning kids comedy group, The Wholesome Hour, with a brand new show about animals. We are thrilled to be joining forces again with Opera Victoria after last year's inaugural partnership, this time with 2 projects, one of which is introducing Teddy. We are returning this after a sellout season last year, and this time at the Melbourne Recital Centre. It's for 3 years and up, and it's a musical interpretation of author Jessica Walton's work, which is a gentle story about gender for young people, with a narrator and the magic of live music by Orchestra Victoria. Transmansplaining, which was mentioned earlier, an original one-man stage show based on the experiences of Ben, using humour and storytelling, revealing a unique perspective on life as a transgender man. Ben shares a poignant and often humorous observation about life pre and post-transition. And representing and responding and paying homage to the safer space theme, and representing therefore our whole festival, is our hero image for the year, commissioned by us from artist Jack Lee. It's based upon a photograph from above of a group of 7 people of diverse ages, body types, skin tones and clothing, cradling one another on a background of dark to light orange. And the eventual graphic design features this image with pencil-drawn outlines of bodies, creating an illustrative sketch effect, and 4 faded rainbows, coloured rectangles that have been layered over to create a distorted effect. The Peer Festival is back, continuing on Midsumma's multi-year commitment, showcasing and profiling queer, non-binary and women in music. And another major project for this year, a new one, is Ignite Melbourne. It's actually an exciting collaboration with most of the annual festivals here in Melbourne across the year, focusing on new events and activations that will bring people back into the CBD. And as part of a safer space, we've commissioned 6 exciting Melbourne-based queer artists and companies to develop new outdoor, exciting public pieces for public spaces, responding to the theme for activations in the lead up and during the festival. You can watch Beef as they battle dance it out for the title of Supreme Boy Band. You can step inside an inflatable cochlea as the amazing Snuff Puppets are going to deliver an interactive multidisciplinary performance piece by intersex non-binary artist Opal Crafter. Be the supermodel that you've always wanted to be, as participants are invited to create haute couture and strut your stuff down the catwalk with House of Fashion. Raucous, which is Melbourne's award-winning ensemble of artists with and without disability, will produce a new work that explores and expresses their imaginative world, marrying intense physicality. The Valerie exhibition and the Places of Workshop with the in-demand Huxleys. A corner of our year-round program is our Midsumma Australia Post Arts Prize, which we are really proud to do each year. It's a visual arts competition that has firmly now established itself as the nation's leading queer art award. It's in its 8th year, and the finalists from that exhibition will be showcased in an exhibition at No Gallery during the festival. Come along and vote for the People's Choice Award, find out which artist secures the really important exclusive development opportunity through Bundoora Arts Centre, and who gets crowned the ultimate winner. And the winner of last year's Midsumma and Australia Post Art Award, Amon Kaki, has their own photographic and video exhibition in the program called 99 Names. It's at Brunswick Street Gallery with work that reflects on the criminalisation of homosexuality across at least 74 countries, 13 of which still impose the death penalty. Pride and Joy is the second of our collaborations with Orchestra Victoria. We all know the voices of LGBTIQ composers can be heard across music throughout history, yet that is so often omitted from the history retellings or the program notes and from our collective memories. So we've been planning this project since mid-COVID, and you can join the wonderful musicians of the orchestra as we celebrate queer luminaries of the past and contemporary voices, and invite you to have a connection with queer composers that's quite unique. Another return of pre-COVID events is Nocturnal. You get to soak up the exclusive late time access to the museum with live music, pop-up performances and a chance to actually explore their exhibitions with Midsumma at the helm. At Abbotsford Convent we have a composting cabaret. Your favourite colourful and energetic showgirls, Stenography and Betty Rumble are back to bring you a joyful landscape of performance offerings inspired by Mini Disco research play. And Mini Beast Disco itself is back, which is a wholesome, eco-focused, intergeneral disco spectacular. It's for 3 to 9-year-olds with families, and it was one of the joys of last year's festival. Earlier this year, we announced a new partnership with Homophonic, some of the fabulous musicians you met at the door as you came in, with the Homophonic Pride Prize, which is a new annual award for us to be involved with for composers and new work. During the Midsumma Festival, Homophonic's concert is back for its 13th year of outrageous, fabulous new classical chamber music. And this year will feature the first public performance of the 22 award winner of the Homophonic Pride Prize. For those of you who are interested in writing and review and contextualised critical dialogue, we have Queer Feral Camp, which is workshops that open a new doorway within Midsumma for the development and exploration of the importance of constructive critical thought and review and writing for queer arts. Originally commissioned by Midsumma and Art Play as part of Prism, which was our queer family signature program in 21, the Rainbow Tree is back. By Fat Fruit, it is being remounted, it's touring across Victoria, and during our festival dates, it'll have performances at Arts Centre Melbourne and in Bendigo's engine room. Across the bridge, an exhibition developed through young people's own experiences, an intimate explanation about identity and sexuality beyond labels, and it's made in dialogue between young LGBTIQ international students and local artists. Le Freak is a circus work. It tells the stories of sideshow from the inside by trans, queer, disabled and sex worker performers. And winner of the best theatre work at Adelaide Fringe in 21 is Something in the Water, coming to our festival. It takes its audiences into the wacky world of sea monsters, the spellbinding puppetry, laugh out loud, and it's an absurd exploration of gender. And last year, as part of our panel discussions, we had a queer people of colour panel program from the club to the theatre and trans talks, and the UK curator of both of those panels brings his acclaimed theatre work, Burgers, finally to make its debut here in Australia. It's a trans cooking show with a recipe for reclamation. Burgers explores how trans bodies can survive and how we can reclaim them through an act of violence and address our own complicity. We're working again with NGV, with weekends of conversations, tours, performances and community-led presentations across the festival. And of course, Pride March on the 5th of February. And then as we wind up the War Festival for the year, we change gears to present the state government's Victoria's Pride with an Art Street party to remember on the 13th of February. Live in Gertrude and Smith Streets, Fitzroy, but also with a statewide program of projects that are occurring right from now right through to mid-February, with 14 regionally based partner programs commissioned by Midsumma. And then on the 13th of February in the CBD, Artists will take to multiple stages, to streets, to parks, to balconies, with commissioned projects and some of our community's greatest celebrations. The full program for this is coming in about a month. However, just as a little teaser, we already have announced Casey Donovan, Altar Boy and Jawbreakers. So, as we clear away your plates after your entree this evening, prepare and make room for the full course. With far more experiences that I could mention in one evening, although I've tried, you have 23 days in January and February to fill. And after all, that's what a festival is about. It's a journey of multiple explorations, and you have to sample some new artists and some new events outside your comfort zone. A festival just isn't a festival without full immersion, because who needs sleep? As always, we'll have a planner for you on our website so you can fill in all of those things. We also have a special printed program guide for your coffee tables for online viewing, and that will be in your hands before you leave tonight. For those ticketed events that jump out to you, a lot of shows do sell out, and we always have people who are disappointed, so don't let that be you. Our team will be at the back with some iPads if you do have any questions or you need some help navigating. And if you need another reason to buy early, there's an early bird offer that's 15% off. You have to get in early. And there's also a special price for 3 show packages. Hundreds of volunteers are required to make this festival happen each year, and our registrations for volunteers is open right now on our website. So please consider joining up and becoming part of the team. People come back every year, so they must have a good time. I'd like to offer my personal thanks to all of our board members and to the amazing team of staff and volunteers that make up Midsumma on a day-to-day basis, because they make my job a dream job. This is your festival. To the artists, venues, producers and presenters whose work make up this incredible program, thank you once again for your inspiration, your insight, your courage, and I can't wait to share it with you all. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank another of our partner organisations, the Victorian Aboriginal Health Service, who will be celebrating their 50th anniversary next year, which we understand makes them the 2nd oldest Aboriginal health service in Australia. Thank you to Fed Square, a new partner for Midsumma, for this wonderful venue, to all of our partners here tonight, and of course to our principal partner NAB for hosting tonight with us. A special thank you to all of those joining us online. And whilst our formalities will come to an end, we invite you to stay for a while. You'll soon have that program guide in your hands. We suggest you start browsing it, share a drink and a nibble with us, and we haven't quite finished your entertainment just yet. Thank you for attending. My job tonight is done. And now I'd like to introduce our final performances to wind up the formalities with Cry Club, Ruben K, Shout Choir, and a special guest right at the end. Happy Midsumma.
Hello.
Hi. Big round of applause for everyone moving the lectern. Yes! I don't know about you, I am extremely excited after hearing all of that. So, yeah. We are Cry Club. We're going to do a couple real cute little quick songs for you. This first one's called Obvious. I've been out every night this week. I'm not sure I know how to speak without the glass of wine in hand. My bad account is getting nervous. Can't take another purchase chance. Me bitch, you need to stay at home. This is bad for us. could anyone say no? I think it's obvious, though. How could anyone say no? I think it's obvious, though. All right, this one's a bit ridiculous.
It's a realization of how gay 80s glam rock is.
Always hear your voice at night. Stupid little lullaby. God, no matter how I try, somehow you still get to me. I will always take the bait. Make a couple more mistakes. Just too little, just too late. Somehow you still get to me. I'm stuck to the floor, searching for more ways to get you out of my head. I'm losing it. I'm so sick of getting drunk in service. I dream of being intertwined. Please, can you stay on the line? Make a fool out of me one last time. Somehow you still get to me. Somehow you still get to me. I'm stuck to the floor, searching for more ways to get you out of my head. I'm losing it. I'm so sick of getting drunk in service. I want you to know I just can't let go. You've always scared me. Good at the worst me. Why won't you leave me
Am I on? Give it up for Cry Club! And well fucking done. Congratulations. How amazing was that? How incredible to be here in Melbourne with music and people in a venue like this that hasn't been sold to Hillsong. Who knew? Right? And we're all across Hillsong. We all know kind of Pentecostal, evangelical, megachurch pop group Bank, right? That's what it is. L. Ron Hubbard said The best way to make money is start a religion, so that's what they did. They just copy and pasted some shit bits from the Bible, added in some major chords played on guitar by a beach bum with a neck tattoo to make it appealing to the younger generation, made sure they were headed up by a pedophile who they moved out of the public eye, which is very au fait for the church. And then the next guy didn't even get charged when he was accused. He was just disoriented after mixing anti-anxiety medication and alcohol, which is not what happens when you do that, because I'm doing that right fucking now, and I'm not knocking on any interns' doors. And you know, like, the gist of this is that they bought Festival Hall, iconic music venue in Melbourne. And the thing is, everyone has a story about Festival Hall. And the thing is, I didn't actually go to Festival Hall for those big music gigs like Iggy Pop, The Stones. I went to Festival Hall for those big gay sex community outreach programs called Sleaze and Megafist, Red Raw. Say what you like about our community, but we really call a fuck party a spade. And so I guess for me, the sale of Festival Hall, or the occupation of Festival Hall by Hillsong, who believe in full body immersion baptism, which is just waterboarding for Jesus, is it's a little bittersweet. Because on the one hand, it's another loss of a mainstay LGBTQIA++ Scrabble board space. It's a huge piece of inner city real estate that could be housing the most vulnerable in society, but is instead being given to those with the most privilege, who don't pay tax on a $96 million a year plus income in Australia alone, so they don't contribute. And it's a further narrowing of the gap between church and state, which in this country, or any country, is incredibly dangerous. However, on the other hand, the community of Hillsong will now be singing hymns to Jesus and abstinence. In the same room, I got cream pied up against the speaker stack. Just feels good to give back. I'm so sorry. And now I'd like to introduce something much more wholesome, although I am only the first syllable in that word. The brain behind what you're about to see, Alex Morris, is also that, don't give him that much applause, he'll only take it. He is the mad scientist behind the Shania Choir, a choir made up entirely of Shania Twain impersonators. Also the Diana Choir, same concept, minus the steering wheel, of course. And for the last 5 years, he has been at the helm of one of Australia's foremost queer youth choirs, the Shout Chorus. So please give it up for Alex Morris and the Shout Chorus!
I got this feeling on this summer day when you were gone. I crashed my car into the bridge, I watched, I let it burn. I threw the shit into a bag and pushed it down the stairs. I crashed my car into the bridge. I don't care, I love it, I don't care. I got this feeling on this switch. You're from the 70s, but I'm a 90s bitch. I love it. You're so damn hard to please. We gotta kill this switch. You're from the 70s, but